Thanks, Paige. I'm here today talking with Cooper Anstett, an up-and-coming musician who's also a student at the University of Michigan. So glad you could join
Of
us
course.
today.
Yeah, of course. Glad to be
So
here.
I'll just start with the basic. What got you attracted to music? What made you want to pursue a career?
From a young age, actually both my parents are like super into music and music lovers, and I've been exposed to a lot of good music, in my opinion, from my parents. So I've always kind of had a really strong connection with
Yeah,
it from a young age.
that's awesome. Who would you say was a musician who they first introduced you to, who you still look up to this day?
A guy named Cat Stevens. He's a little bit, he's older now, but I think one of the best songwriters around to this day, and I kind of have always looked up to him and always loved his music.
What style music does he perform?
He's a singer-songwriter, very folk. Just it's him and his guitar for most of his songs, but he breaks out the full band when he needs to, which is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. What musicians would you say you can compare yourself to most, or musicians that you sound the most like?
One guy I've always loved is a guy named Jack Johnson.
I love Jack Johnson.
Yeah, he's the man, and I think that's probably someone who people compare me most to.
Yeah.
Um,
He's pretty well known too, so
yeah.
it's like a common sound.
Yeah, for sure. And like I love when people do it because I've in high school I always would want to learn his songs or other people too. But he was a guy who I really looked up to and wanted to kind of model my songwriting and maybe singing after in the beginning until I found my
I mean,
voice.
he was like a surfer before he became a
surfer dude,
musician,
yeah,
which
for
is,
sure.
he was literally just a surfer dude before becoming a musician.
Yep, for sure.
And I think he won some titles even, but yeah, that's awesome. I love him, and if you have modeled yourself after him, like that's a great example, especially considering how successful he is and how well he's done in the industry.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like he was a surfer before music, and for me, hockey was like a very big part of my life before music. I played for 18 years.
Oh wow.
I actually stopped playing my sophomore year in college, and that's when I actually came to Michigan. I went to a school in Minnesota before and played college hockey out there, and then stopped playing to pursue music full time and come to Michigan.
What made you decide that? Like, why did you decide that music was what you ultimately wanted to do?
Starting my freshman year in high school, that's when I really got into songwriting, and hockey was always right there alongside of it, very important in my life, but so was music. And as I got older, music was becoming a bigger part of who I was and what I wanted to do. And I think once I got to the stage where I was like ready to make the decision to stop playing hockey and play music, it was more about just like all the people around me knew me as a hockey player, and I was just trying to transition them to see me as a musician.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and
kind
not
of a
just a hockey player.
hard transition,
Yeah.
like because they have a conception of you in your head, and you have to, change that totally.
Yep.
So it's probably difficult, but that's awesome that you've been so successful so far. Like, what are you doing right now? What's going on in your?
So right now, last fall, I released an EP called For a Reason that was received well within the community and outside of that too. But I'm working on a new project. It's gonna be called Cooper, the mixtape, and it's a little bit different style than my last stuff. But I've been working on it over the summer in LA with a producer from Good Music named Ryan McDermott, and he's awesome. Me and him really have a good connection and relationship where we can make something pretty awesome. So I'm excited to share this new sound and songs with people.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is your favorite song that you've written so far?
Ooh, my favorite song, I would have to say, the more recent songs that you write are the ones you kind of
Oh, definitely.
are the ones you kind of love the most at the moment, and that kind of causes you to forget about older songs. But I'd say right now is a song called Something Good, that it's unreleased right now, but it's a song that I love. And sometimes when you sit down and write, you don't always try and get out the words you want to say about the inspiration that you had and that you're writing about. It doesn't always just come out the way you want it to, but with Something Good, it just came out very naturally, and everything I was trying to say inside my mind and in my heart came out very easily. And when that happens, I have kind of like a really good feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what happened, yeah.
Yeah, when you have to sit down and force it, that's you never
Yeah.
get the great songs that way. It's always when you it just kind of comes to you, and it
For
works
sure.
out really well. But
Yeah.
it was so nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
But we will be back after this quick commercial break.